Welcome to the Health Daily Show. I'm your host, Chitra Nabat. Joining us today is Steve Tolle, partner, HLM Venture Partners. Steve, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Tell us about HLM Venture Partners and what's unique and different about your firm and investing approach.
Well, HLM is one of the oldest healthcare dedicated venture firms in the country. We've been around since the early 80s. We've done only healthcare investing since the early 90s. And we're a team that's got a pretty strong reputation in the market. We are a firm that has a mix of investment bankers, analysts. One of my partners is a molecular cell biologist. And of course, I'm a 30-year health tech operator. And so it gives us as a firm a really diverse viewpoint to look at deals and very diverse sourcing network for deals. And so HLM, I think, has a reputation of never walking away from a term sheet. In our 30 years as an investor, once we've given a term sheet to a founder, we honor it.
How does that translate to your LP investors? Because it's a volatile market, recessionary. VC funding is down about 50% from last year highs, so it's taking VC firms longer to raise less money.
Yeah.
How does that translate to innovation and competitiveness with your LPs?
Well, first, this isn't the first cycle that we've been through. Given how long we've been doing this, if you think about the dot-com bubble, the 08 bubble, COVID bubble, and now this, there are fantastic opportunities that always present themselves in a down market. You're going to have fallen angels, broken IPOs, unicorns are going to lose their horns, right? So there's always opportunities to find good deals at pretty reasonable valuation. Good companies will always get funded. But I think we're finally back into an environment where valuations are going to be realistic. And so you're going to go through this cycle, and we're going to get to the trough, probably the next 12 months, where companies that recently fundraised at very high valuations are going to have to decide, are they going to do a down round or not? And they're going to wait as long as they can. They're going to go through the 6 cycles of dealing with grief. But you're going to see companies come to the realization that they're going to have to go raise more money at a different valuation. And I think it's going to be good for those companies ultimately as they come out of this and find an exit. So we've been through the cycle probably 5 times.
So what do you then say to your LPs to say, hey, LP, continue to invest in us and allocate capital. We're competitive. We're ahead of the game. What do you say to your LPs?
Well, for us, in the last year, we were not terribly active doing deals with crazy high valuations. When you're in a market situation where you've got, I call it froth, we decided to go later. So instead of buying into high valuation companies that don't have a lot of revenue but crazy valuation multiples, we actually decided to go a little bit later in our last fund, de-risk those investments, and our plan is to deliver results regardless of market conditions. So you do have to gauge how you're investing based on where the market is. We're not going to buy into these crazy valuations because we're financial investors. We're not strategic investors. And so we just had to play to the strength of de-risking your investments, go a little bit later, and then see how the market evolves.
With the diversity that you talked about inside your firm, you've been a tech operator for 30 years. How does this play into your playbook around the founders and the companies that you invest in? Give us the inside on the metrics, the attributes, the qualities that you look for that cause you to make an investment.
Well, first, we don't invest in companies, right? We invest in people. And so at the end of the day, you have to really get comfortable with the founder that you're going to back. So you have to spend time with them, get to know them socially and professionally. And I think when I look at a company, the first thing I'm going to pay attention to is product market fit. Of course you need to have a big addressable market, but at the end of the day, if the founder of that company doesn't really understand what their customers need and why they're going to buy from them right now, they're not a backable company. So product market fit's the first thing that I pay attention to. That's because I'm a product guy by heart. But when we look at how to pick founders and how we bring value to founders, if you come to a show like this, where you have a lot of really early stage companies, my job here is to build relationships. We might not invest in a really early stage company, but we're going to be helpful, and we'll introduce them to companies who will invest in them because it's a good thing to do to build that relationship over time. And then when they're in our zone where we can be most valuable, then we'll look at making an investment. So it really is about relationship building, and do they have that spark that you need to see in a founder around, am I going to be able to scale this business because I get the product market fit?
Steve, let's talk a little bit about leadership. In life and career, there are codes, rules, norms on how things are done.
Yeah.
Where have you been a code breaker in career, business, your life journey, and how did you do it?
Well, I've had a crazy journey in my career. I'm probably one of the few people that's worked for pharma companies, for tech companies, for a payer, and academic medicine. So I've kind of seen healthcare from 4 or 5 different angles, and these groups of people typically distrust each other. So it does give me a pretty unique view. I've had a couple career pivot points in my life where we had a big product challenge at one of the companies that I was leading, and we learned very quickly that you have to absolutely throw the playbook out, go to your customers, be very transparent about what's really going on. Again, it's about trust, and then how do you go forward? And so I would say I might have been a little unpopular with senior leadership because I felt like we needed to be transparent with our clients, and it worked. So we saved that product.
Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
That's great to be here.